Guestcentric's Web Interface Manager, Yield Rates Setup. Yield is used in hotels and hostels to maximize revenue. Guestcentric's Web Interface Manager will allow you to set up specific rules that will automatically manage your rates defined on specific periods. For example, you might hit 50% occupancy and want to increase your rate. Or, if you've only got 2 rooms left to sell, you'd want to increase it even further. It will also allow you to say if you've got 150 rooms left to sell, or you're only holding 20% occupancy, you can drop the rate. These rules are defined on specific calendar periods, and these may be one day, such as Christmas, or entire seasons. And for other properties, it may be specific for school holidays or many other user-defined periods for your property. Before we can set up the rules for yield, we must set up the yield period. Select Yield, then Yield Periods, and to set a new period, click on the New button. To create a new yield period, first select the property that the yield period will apply for, and then give the period a name. Then, in the Date Selection window, use the calendar icon to choose the start and finish dates for your yield period. If your yield period breaks over multiple date ranges, you can click on Add Range to add another set of dates to that yield period. The yield period will automatically apply for all weekdays. You can unselect days by unclicking the tick on the column for that day. Once you've completed your yield period, click Save to create your yield period. The system will then show you your yield period list. The priority is listed on the far left-hand side and can be changed by using the up and down arrows. The priority will define which yield period the system will use as a priority over the top of the other. The priorities will work in numerical order, with 1 being the highest priority and 5 being the lowest priority. You can edit your yield periods by clicking on the Edit button. Once you've created a yield period, you then need to set up your yield rules, which are called yield rates. In the menu, select Yield, then Yield Rates. Use the filter to see any rates that you already have created, or select New Yield Rate to create a new yield rule. The new yield rate window will open. Choose the channel and the property that you wish the yield to apply to. Then, decide if you want to use the Days Out feature. Tick the Days Out active and put a value in the Days Out box. For example, if you've entered 14, the rate value will automatically be updated 14 days in the future from today's hotel date. If the days out are not active, the rate change will apply to all days. Choose the rate code that you wish to have this active on, the room types that are applicable for this yield rule, and the yield period that you've already defined. Then choose one of the 4 occupancy type or occupancy adjustment rules that apply for this yield rate. Rooms left will yield the rate when the total number of rooms left to sell match the number specified. Occupancy percentage will yield the rate when the total occupancy of the property matches the number specified, or room occupancy percentage. The yield rate will apply when the percentage for the room type only matches the number specified, or the room group occupancy percentage. The yield rate will apply when the occupancy percentage for the group of room types matches the number specified. Once you've defined your occupancy type, then set the rules for that occupancy type. So for this setting, when I reach 8 rooms left to sell, I'm going to adjust the rate by a value of 14%. This will mean that GCWIM will increase the rate by 14% when there's only 8 standard king rooms left to sell. You can then click on Add Row to add an additional setting to this yield rule. So if I have 4 rooms left, I'm going to increase my rate by 24%. This increase will be off the original rate value, not off the rate value that was adjusted with the 14% increase. Once you've specified all of the yield rate details, click Save to save the yield rule. You can set up multiple yield rules for different values of percentage or a fixed value increase. Another example, shown in the screen, is a setting of 50% occupancy will increase the rate by a $100 value. A setting of 60% occupancy will adjust the rate by $200 value. Once you've saved your yield rate, you'll see a screen displaying all of your yield setup. This will show you at a brief overglance of all of the different yield rules that you have set up for your property. You can modify them by clicking on the Action button and remove them by clicking on the X button. Use the filter to display different yield rules.